But it's funny about the NFL. It changes really fast. Really, really fast. I want you to think about this. 10 games ago, end of last year, Baker Mayfield mania hit the NFL because of 2 big games against awful Cincinnati where he had 7 touchdowns and no picks. And I kept saying, he's short. He's not getting taller. He's not athletically dynamic. That's not going to change. And he's cocky, and I don't think that's what the best quarterbacks of my life are. Slow down, everybody. He's going to face much better teams and coaches next year. 10 games later from Baker Mania, Lamar Jackson's clearly the most dynamic quarterback in the class and may end up getting many, many MVP votes. Kyler Murray, though you're not watching him in Arizona, is a dynamic, much better athlete than Baker, much better accurate thrower than Baker, and doing amazing things with far less talent than Baker. Baker's now going to be on his 4th head coach in 2 years, according to reports. Freddie Kitchens in trouble. His accuracy has eroded. We have Tua, the greatest quarterback prospect, they say, in a decade, coming into the NFL next year. Forget Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, who are 6'4", can throw it. The following year, you're going to have Justin Fields at Ohio State and Trevor Lawrence, who, in my opinion, that's Elway Marino. Those are 2 absolute can't-fail home runs. And this morning, Baker, 10 games removed from Baker Mania, is just a guy. 32nd in passer rating, 30th in completion percentage, 2nd in interceptions. That's with an elite running back, an elite receiving core. He's just a guy, a 5'11 and a half guy who's too cocky, accuracy's eroded, and not dynamic athletically as the quarterback position changes to more dynamic athletically. This year, Baker Mayfield wasn't even the most interesting quarterback in the AFC with a mustache. That was Gardner Minshew. Cleveland's now closer to the Miami Dolphins than the Pittsburgh Steelers without Big Ben. The NFL, what do they say? NFL, not for long. This is why you don't do 15 commercials. This is why you come in humble. This is why you come in hungry. This is why you don't make bold predictions. The interest now in Baker is simply about the disaster known as Baker. This league's got Tua coming. We're 2 years away from Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence coming. We've got Kyler's here and better. We got Lamar's here and he's dynamic. Baker is this morning just a guy. And my least favorite thing he does is that he, there's an old Bill Belichick line. When you ask him about something, he goes, on to Cincinnati. It's like the running joke in the league. Look, do not live in the rearview mirror. So here are the Browns this week facing their rival, short week, red-hot Steelers, national TV, and Baker's talking about the crowd noise against Buffalo last week. You're talking once again about last week and not the biggest game of the year. 10 games removed. He's just a guy. He doesn't look anything close to Lamar. You're not watching Arizona. I am. I'm paid to watch him. He ain't close to Kyler Murray. He's not going to be close to Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. Hell, Sam Darnold last week looked really good. Eric Mangini on First Things First this morning about Baker's comments about the crowd against Buffalo.
Just take a step back and focus on the Pittsburgh Steelers, not the fans, not your facial hair, not your sneakers and whatever design they have, not the $100,000 watch that you have. Can we please focus on the task at hand as opposed to everything else? The Browns just find a way to create more problems and distractions for themselves.
Just a guy, 10 games removed from Baker Mania. The league changes fast and humbles you quickly. Ask the Rams. That was the future. Everybody was copying the Rams a year ago. 10 games ago, the league was copying the Rams. Now they have a crisis at running back, offensive line, and salary cap. But by the time you're 45 years old, you are where you deserve to be in life. Now, you can have bad parents and struggle in your 20s, economic hardships. That can take you a decade or more to burrow out of. But think about this. We all make thousands of decisions a day. But let's burrow it down to about 12 decisions a day. cutting in traffic, maybe I shouldn't. Talk to your boss, open a door. 12 decisions a day. That's as little as you could do. 12 decisions a day, 7 days a week is what, 84. 84 times 4 weeks in a month is 360. 360 times 12 months a year is about 4,000 decisions a year. There's probably that many made in a week, but I'll say a year. By the time you're 45, you have made millions of decisions. People that make better decisions end up in a better place by 45. I'm not saying at 22 you can overcome a bad childhood, or even 32. Mid-40s, get it together. Most of the people running the NFL are in their mid-40s. You deserve to be where you're at in the NFL. Don't blame the officials. I don't want to hear about the officials. I don't want to hear about anything. Pittsburgh and Cleveland have the same topography, weather, and division. One's great, one stinks, always. There's a reason. The Rooneys are smarter. The GM is smarter. Mike Tomlin's smarter. There's a reason Pittsburgh and Cleveland. There's no reason Pittsburgh should have any topography, geography, or economic advantage. They do. So I was thinking about, there's a story out today that John Fox, former Bears coach, and the quarterback coach of the Bears did not want Mitch Trubisky. They were like, no. We want Deshaun Watson because they're in the same conference, and Deshaun's way better. Which me, just a radio TV moron, said before the draft. Everybody here is my witness. How do you draft Mitch Trubisky, who I did not see really as a starting NFL quarterback, front leg thrower, ball dies, marginally athletic, over Deshaun Watson? They played in the same conference. What are you doing? Nick Saban, twice, 6 weeks, couldn't stop Deshaun. What are you doing? Dabo Swinney, I know it's bias, but sometimes bias is right. Dabo Swinney's like, he's Michael Jordan. I'm just a dumb old college coach, but that's Michael Jordan. Okay, so Cleveland has passed on, think about this. Cleveland passed on Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and Carson Wentz for a 5'11 and a half, two-time walk-on cocky guy. Chicago navigated, gave up picks to move up, not take Mahomes, not take Deshaun Watson, to get Mitch Trubisky. Okay. Cincinnati, you've always been Cincinnati. Tua's available. If you don't pick him, that's why you're Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's good. Tua, Trent Dilfer does an 11 for an 11 camp. Bucky Brooks and Trent have been doing that for years. They have both told me on the record and off, Tua's the best prospect they have ever seen. This was Trent Dilfer on my show this week.
I think Tua is the single best prospect I have ever studied in my years of doing it. He is so uniquely gifted in so many ways that I think he is head and shoulders better than Burrow and Herbert. Tua Tagovailoa has a chance to be a generational type talent in the NFL and go down as one of the better quarterbacks that's ever played in the NFL.
Okay, he was 2 weeks off a surgery table and nearly flawless against LSU. He's completing 71% of his throws with a conservative defensive-minded head coach, 31 TDs, 3 picks. Well, Alabama doesn't run the kind of offense that highlights quarterbacks. They play it safe. And now you have Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray who are really giving you the prototype for him. There's no excuse. Like Lamar Jackson, I can get people going, I haven't seen anything like Lamar since Michael Vick, and that was like 15 years ago. You got two guys in the NFL right now flourishing that play like Tua. Russell Wilson on Monday night and Kyler Murray in Arizona, you're not watching their games. He is Tua, but probably not as good. So, again, you deserve in the NFL to be where you're at. And there's a reason Cleveland could have had all these guys. Carson Wentz, and there's a reason Cleveland's Cleveland. And there's a reason Chicago, which is mostly outside of a very brief run with Mike Ditka. Chicago's been dysfunctional. Good for a year, bad, good, bad, mostly mediocre. Tua's out there, go get him. Because, by the way, Joy and I both, a year ago, I was like, he gets hurt a lot. He tends to be kind of a one-side-of-the-field thrower. He has gotten better. And for him to play at 75%, 2 weeks off a surgery table, be that accurate and that good. Gary Danielson said, I saw him on Friday. He doesn't look right. Well, I saw him on Saturday. He looked really right. When you have multiple people who've seen him since high school saying, no, this is the best ever. And so, I mean, you can like the other guys. I get it. But I think this kid's getting better. His numbers are insane. And he's a left-handed Russell Wilson. which I think has always been his prototype. But now that Kyler Murray's in, and Kyler's, for the record, Tua, I believe, is over 6 feet tall. Tua is not. He's 6'1". Okay, so he's taller than Russell Wilson. He's much taller than Kyler Murray. He's 6'1". Tua is not that small. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.